latest. And one of the latest is going to be an interview that we have today, talking a little bit more about the First Christian Church of Tyler hosting a workshop. This is by Open Table Faith. It's happening this Saturday, examining the Christian history and traditions of the Celtic nations. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest today. Joining us right now is Jonathan Benedetti. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
I was really hoping I got that. I really hope I nailed that. But let's go ahead and just kind of dive straight in. Many communities around the world have unique histories and traditions when it comes to Christianity. What makes the Christian heritage of the Celtic peoples especially interesting?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, thanks for the opportunity, Kylie, to be here.
Of course.
One thing that's captivated my imagination about Celtic spirituality and Celtic Christianity is its connection and rootedness in nature. So reverence of nature, seeing the goodness of the world around us, and seeing it as, you might say, shot through with divine presence. I think that all of us who spend a lot of time on screens or in sort of technological surroundings yearn for connectedness with the world around us. And so I think Celtic spirituality really speaks to that.
Okay, well, what is the purpose, I should say, in examining these traditions?
Well, first of all, I think it's really beneficial to just explore and experience different streams and different traditions outside of maybe what your background was or kind of how you were raised. So it can be a meaningful and enlightening thing just on its own. I think it specifically connects with folks who are in the process of what's popularly called deconstruction, of evolving what they've thought or believed, trying to root in ancient practices or ancient beliefs to see different paths and explore different things. So I think that this is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this workshop to Tyler.
All right. Well, let's delve right into what will be discussed at Saturday's workshop. There will be 4 talks in total, each followed by open discussions. Tell me a little bit about each of them. We're going to start off here with orientation to the Celtic Christian tradition.
So just a background on the history of Celtic Christianity and the spirituality of the Celtic Isles and how those things connect. So it'll just really be an orientation. That's the first one. Second, the second talk will really dive into creation spirituality, which is what I was alluding to earlier, the way in which the Celts saw the entire world, the entirety of nature, the created order, as being shot through with divine presence. So very important piece. The third one will be on Celtic symbols. So I think that's maybe something a lot of people are already familiar with, whether it's the Celtic knot artwork or Celtic crosses, of just seeing just the beauty of Celtic symbols, and also being a visual language of those who saw God's presence in creation. And then finally, just an overview of some of the key Celtic saints and teachers, those who can stand, even though they have spoke and wrote centuries ago, they can still speak to us today.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the featured guest. I know that we briefly talked about it, just a tidbit before we got started here, but tell me about Danielle Schroyer.
Yes, so Danielle is a friend of mine. Danielle is an author and a spiritual director and a former pastor, driving over from Dallas. So she has spoken here in Tyler at a couple of our Open Table Faith events in the past. She also is the director and founder of an organization called Via Forma, which provides spiritual formation resources and spiritual wisdom. And so her and I just hatched out a plan for this workshop. So really excited about her coming. She's an amazing person, fantastic presenter, and she is the expert on Celtic spirituality, not me. So I look forward to learning from her as well.
Well, I think it'll be a learning experience for everybody, but so much work has been put into this. What is one thing or a few things that you hope people take away from this workshop?
Well, one thing that I hope they take away from the workshop is that wherever they are in their spiritual journey, that it's okay to be honest, to ask questions about where you're at, to explore, and also to know that they are not alone. They're not the only people asking those questions, looking for different varieties or different experiences of spirituality. So I hope that folks who come can connect with some other friends and spiritual refugees on the journey, and I hope that they can connect with an ancient and rich tradition of spirituality that can be nourishing to them in this world that we find ourselves in now.
Okay, well, in your view, what do you think these Celtic Christian traditions say about God?
I think they say that God created everything as good. And there are some traditions that focus and emphasize on negative and what's bad. I think Celtic spirituality emphasizes the original blessing of creation, which points to the goodness of the Creator in everything that's made. And so that's what, and that there's room for everyone.
Awesome. Well, this event is being put on by Open Table Faith, the organization which you direct.
That's right.
What is Open Table Faith?
So Open Table Faith is a project of First Christian Church in Tyler, and it exists to create safe and brave spaces for honest conversation about God and faith. We focus on three things: reimagining spirituality, healing spiritual wounds, working with folks who've experienced religious trauma and spiritual abuse, and then finally loving the world that we live in. That's what we're about. We do that through book groups and storytelling nights and conferences and just about any other thing that we can think of to create an environment for a good, honest conversation about faith.
Awesome. So cool. Well, let's get those need-to-know details about the event. What is the date, time, location? What do we need to know?
That's right. So the event will be Saturday, July 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at First Christian Church in Tyler. The cost is $10 per person. And lunch is included, and coffee. That's really important to add. Coffee also included. And so you can find out any more the event will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. with an hour lunch break. There'll be a lot of opportunity for conversation and engagement, as well as good presentations from Danielle. So they can find, anybody who's interested can go to opentablefaith.com/Celtic, CELTIC, to find more information and to register for the event.
Awesome. That sounds like so much fun. A lot of work has gone into this event. Do you have anything else that we should know before we go?
No, just that we would, if you're curious, you can always reach out to us. You can follow Open Table Faith's email newsletter, sign up for it on the website. If you ever have any questions about this event or anything else that we do, we want you to know that you're not alone, so reach out anytime.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. Again, this is Jonathan Benedetti. Thank you again. And I'm sure if you guys want more information, this will be over on our website in just a little while. Jonathan, again, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Kylie.
All right.